Hey y'all, I want to come here and I want to talk about it. Kind of goes into communication, right? The communication series. But let's talk about long term relationship breakups, right? This is when you with somebody for a long stint of time and then you guys happen to break up. How do you handle those emotions? What do you do to handle those emotions? So, I want to share my experiences, right? A few years ago, before my ex passed away, when we broke up, I was devastated. And if anybody was on my journey, they were there. They saw the process. Like I lost so much weight. I went down to 120 pounds, and my average weight is like 160. Right? I had lost all that weight in 3 months. I didn't want to come out my room. It literally felt like someone died, right? That's the way I had, but it was kind of worse, because they were still alive, but the relationship was over. And at first, I couldn't embrace that. Like, I felt like my entire soul was ripped out, right? And how did I get over that was knowing and understanding that what's for you is for you at that given time. We have soul contracts with people. This is how I see things. We have contracts with people. And once that contract is up, you move on to the next phase and stage of your life. And what kind of made me understand this mind frame is like when we were together, he said that to me one day. He was like, I know I'm supposed to be here, but I don't know how long. Right? And that was, now hindsight looking back, that was exactly what I'm referencing, right? Some people are just in your life for a season, and you cannot stop your whole life, right? I understand why me and him broke up. You don't understand those things until after the fact, right? But during that time, I understood it to be, I thought it was something wrong with me. But I didn't understand that the problem was it was a problem with the union. It wasn't sustainable. We had two different approaches in life, right? I'm a public speaker. I have to do things that involve socialization. He didn't want me to do those types of things. So as far as what my life path is and what it's going to be and how it's moving, I'm supposed to communicate with people. That's one of the things I do. I have a Libra North Node. So I am supposed to be socializing with people. And if I would have stayed in that relationship, you guys wouldn't even see this right here. Because some people don't want you out in the public. And that could hinder your growth and development. So if someone is being brought in, if you bring someone in your life that is not a part of the overall journey that you have, guess what? When you do that, they're not going to be able to stay because they don't fit in with the vision for your life. And it's okay to let those things go. But you're not going to be able to see that if you're constantly pining over what was not working for you in your life. That's how I've looked at life. Like even the whole dating process, right? It's not about, oh, this is my forever, thank you, amen. It's about getting to know each other and seeing if there is chemistry, if there is compatibility, if there is sustainability. If those three things are missing, or any one of those, it's going to break apart. And that's why I started this communication series, right? So we could know how to communicate with one another and what we're communicating and what life is communicating to us. I didn't understand what life was communicating to me at that time. So I fell into like the biggest rut, and the only time that I've ever felt like that in my life was because I had no understanding about the overall process of life, right? And now that I understand how life works, I don't mourn when people are taken away the way I used to. Because it's the life cycle. The energy can't be created nor destroyed. I learned that from my ex. Because right before he died, we had a death pact. And in that death pact, he said, if I die first, I'm going to do these things to tell you whether there is life after death. And I told him what I was going to do. But he ended up going before me. And I can honestly tell you that no one can ever tell me that there's no such thing as life after death. Like, that fully activated my mediumship abilities. Right? One, because that was the closest person that ever died to me. And we actually had this conversation. And once I saw that, I stopped grieving. I mean, it does hurt sometimes when there's someone, and this goes with relationships and anything that you lose, is once there and then you no longer have access to them. But you start looking at the horizon. You start seeing what's beyond that, right? And when you start looking beyond that, then you're like, you know what? I got some more things to do. I can't rest my laurels on feeling inadequate about a situation when a lot of times those situations show you how you are more adequate than those situations you found yourself in. And a lot of times that's why they fall apart. Insecurity can break down a relationship. You can't walk into a relationship and be insecure. Shouldn't be worrying about the other person. You should be worried about you and your relationship with that individual. And if that relationship with that individual is dishonest, it's not uplifting you, you don't feel like you're growing in it, then you let it go. You don't let the part of you go that decided that that was the person for you. You let it go. And understand that not everything is going to come together when you want it to come together. It'll come together so that everything that you're manifesting works in alignment. Not just one aspect. Everything has to balance out. And if you're not looking at the bigger picture, you can't see all of those facets. So today, on this Self-Care Saturday, I want you to focus on caring for you. Make sure, do a self-check. Make sure that your relationships are reciprocal. If they're not, then you need to reposition people in your life. Because I'm going to tell you, like, I've gotten to the point that I love myself so much that I'd rather hang out with me than anybody else. Because with me, I know what I like. I'm not going to do the things that I don't want me to do. And it's a peace. I'm not saying that I don't have friends and I don't intermingle, but I'm just telling you the level of peace that I developed for myself is that whether those entities are there or not, I'm at peace. I'm good. I don't feel lonely. You could be alone and not feel lonely, right? Those are two different energies. Lonely is a state of being. And being alone is just like where you are. You're alone at the moment. That's like a fact, yeah. You're by yourself, but you don't have to be lonely. When you are by yourself, you utilize that time to tap into self and figure out, who am I? Where am I headed? So you're not just jumping on the latest fad, or as soon as you meet somebody, now you want to jump on what they're doing instead of having what you're doing established so they can add on, right? But that comes with knowing and loving you. And that's what these Self-Care Saturdays about. I want you to take the opportunity out to figure out what makes you tick. Outside of your relationships, business, personal, familial, you take all of that away and it was just you. What do you like? What do you do in your free time? What do you do for fun? Do you even have fun? These are the questions. This is what we explore at Shekinah Wisdom. Because we want to get deep in. This is that deep inner healing. It's not that, oh, we're just living life. It's not that surface dwelling. We are going to get deep into what is making you show up the way you show up. And if it needs improvement, what do you need to do to grow yourself in that area? All right, my lovelies. I had to share that with you, but now I have to go take the dog back inside to feed her. And I hope you have a wonderful self-care Saturday. I love you if no one else has told you that today. And you have a wonderful, amazing day.